How do I navigate California's historic renovation zoning laws? Imagine walking through a city where every building tells a story of California's rich past, from Spanish missions to Art Deco skyscrapers. Now, if you want to restore or update these historic sites, understanding the rules is key. California has a mix of state and local laws that protect these treasures while allowing for renovations. First, you need to find out if your property is officially designated as historic. This could mean it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places, the California Register of Historical Resources, or a local historic register. Properties in historic districts or listed individually are protected by extra rules. Local governments in California are required to report annually on historic designations and any proposed housing projects on these sites. This transparency helps ensure renovations respect the historic status while still meeting housing needs. When working on a historic property, local agencies often adopt specific standards to prevent damaging the building's character. If your city doesn't have its own standards, the Federal Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation come into play. These standards guide you to preserve key architectural features and original materials during renovation. California law also limits how much local agencies can impose unique development rules that could block projects, especially with laws like SB 9. This law makes it easier to build duplexes or split lots in single-family zones. But even with these rules, historic preservation can influence what you're allowed to do, especially if exterior walls or defining features are involved. Zoning rules differ from city to city but usually include limits on building height, lot size, setbacks, and parking. For historic properties, these rules must be balanced with preservation needs. For example, in Los Angeles, residential zones have height and yard requirements that you need to follow along with historic standards. If your property has been damaged by fire or other disasters, California law protects your right to rebuild. Still, local agencies can restrict reconstruction if it threatens safety or if the zone no longer permits certain uses. To navigate these laws smoothly, start by talking to your local planning and historic preservation offices early. They can tell you what designations apply and what standards you need to follow. Review your local zoning code for rules about building size, setbacks, and overlays related to historic districts. If local standards aren't clear, follow the Federal Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation. Stay updated on recent legislation like Assembly Bill 2580, which requires more reporting on historic designations and housing projects, and SB 450, which streamlines housing approvals but still respects historic preservation. Working with architects and contractors experienced in historic renovations can help you stay compliant with both preservation and zoning laws. Before starting work, make sure to get all necessary permits and approvals. Unauthorized changes can lead to penalties or even loss of your historic status. By understanding how historic preservation laws, local zoning rules, and recent state legislation work together, you can successfully renovate California's historic buildings while honoring the state's architectural heritage.